All walks are different. No two people in the world walk the same. Actors try to get hold of their character by figuring out how they would walk. They try to tell the whole story with the walk. We need flexibility to make our walks convincing. In this session, we're going to investigate different ways to get the flexibility that we need to create personality in a walk. I had terrible trouble doing a double bounce, and because I always wanted to do it, and I used to analyze bits of film, and I couldn't do it. And I actually did the one in the Panther, the one with the Mickey Mouse ears. All a double bounce is 2 downs per step. Let me just write that. 2 downs per step. Here, we're putting the down on the contacts and the passing position, and up on the mid positions. Works well. Or we can make the contacts in the passing position the ups and the mid positions the downs. Both methods work. We put the fox from our logo double bouncing on 12s. Do you know the Disney film The Rescuers, where Milt Kahl animated? There's a marvelous scene, well, every scene he did of Medusa. He did nearly all the important shots of her. And she goes into the distance kind of, like this. Do you know, it's quite a famous scene amongst animators. And the bomb is going do-do-do, do-do-do, do-do-do. And the meat of the behind is going 2 downs per step. Very subtle. So I rung him up and asked him about it. And he said he did it. I said, how'd you do that? That's a double bounce on the bum.
isn't it? And he said, well, I acted out, I did it myself. I shut the door so nobody could see me, and I just figured it out. And he wouldn't use live action anymore. Having done it for 35 years, studying live action, he then said, I've had it. I know what's happening. I can figure anything out. I'll do it. And then it all went around the younger animators. Oh, don't use live action. Don't use live action. Milt doesn't use live action. We don't use live action. So they just immediately canceled themselves out of 35 years of study, and they carry on doing stuff they don't know what, it's not so good. So it's the old thing. Learn the rules and then throw them out the window. But you've got the rules in your bloodstream, you can then do what you want, isn't it?
The double bounce walk that we've just done is basically a standard 3-position walk with 2 extra positions. But it's still a standard walk. Now we'll start to vary things. We've got the head, the hips, the shoulders, the arms, the knees, everything to work with. Let's start to limber things up. We'll start with a boring mechanical walk. It functions, but it's dull. First, we'll tilt the shoulders. Then tilt the hips in the opposite direction. Already it's got personality. Now let's bend the body on the 2 extreme positions. Gives him real personality. Take it further by breaking the leg. Whether it would bend that way or not. Really interesting. And we'll tilt the head. Adds life. And how about this? We'll delay the tilt of the head on the passing position. Cheeky. Let's take this uninteresting walk. It functions. Now let's stick the head out on the passing position. Like a pigeon. Kind of interesting. Or we'll stick the head out on the contacts. Very interesting.
There's another thing here. We could get more movement in this. Just a thing like this, just by the belt line, for example.
Normally, the belt line is down with the foot that is down, and up with the foot that is up. And normally, the shoulder opposes the pelvis. But we can do what we like. Here it is normally.
This is like doing your separate runs. You first do your 3 main positions. The 2 contacts, then the middle position, and then you start thinking about what you're going to do for what you've got in your head in the middle and do separate runs. Main things first, lesser things later. Let me just do another thing with the head. Here's our first position of the head.
We're going to wobble his head with self-love. The head tilts toward us on the down and away from us on the up.
then the next step, you could have the head, the next passing position could be this way. You know, there's the ear. That's the back of the head.
Let's swivel the head and then tilt it. Now he's really pleased with himself.
I always wondered why these, in the animated, any books on animation, or you'd see the rough drawings of animators, and they would always have these, you know, they have a head here or something. They have these, they were sort of like this, or the eyes would be like that. They were constantly using drawings like that. And I thought that was the way they drew. You know, this was a drawing thing. But it wasn't. It was, they were animators or layout. They were figuring out, you know, if you're animating Snow White's head or a realistic head, you don't want the eyes and nose and everything to wobble, so you end up with all these guidelines, isn't it? Going from here to here. See what I mean? So that's an animator. They just started, they're thinking this way, right? They're thinking, where am I gonna put the head?
We tend to think of walks as just the legs. We've already broken a knee joint, which loosened up the walk. Now let's see what we can do with an arm swing. We'll start with a mechanical arm swing. It works, but it's stiff. Now we'll drag the hand coming forward and drag the hand going back, which will loosen it up a bit. Now we'll break the elbow joint. It looks weird, but watch what it'll do. Now it's loose, and we can hardly see the broken joint. We just feel it. Better still, we'll overlap the hand at the end of each swing. Now, move the shoulder back and forth in an arc. Result, much more limber.
Curves are beautiful to watch, so we tend to walk in arcs. I mean, a foot, on a normal walk, a foot sort of goes like that, doesn't it? It's a figure eight, but the foot goes down. If you watch a person's walk, we could turn it into that very easily, but it's a sort of arc. Everything's generally going in arcs, isn't it? This is going in an arc. Everything's kind of going in arcs. Arc, arc, arc. If I hit somebody, though, I don't want it in an arc, isn't it? I'm going to lose the momentum. So I might go in an arc, anticipating slugging him, going back in an arc, but then the hit is as absolutely straight as I can. So aggressive movements, like a karate movement that comes out of nowhere, there are usually no arcs in those, right? Those kicks. They're not balletic. They just sort of, bam, they come out at you unexpected. No arcs, right? Ballerinas, arcs. Everything's arc. Feminine is arcs, obviously. Watch your arcs. But as one of the great things with computer animation is you can go so subtly. These things, gee, try it. It should open stuff up for you. If I was on it, that would be one of the first things I would try.
When you talk about breaking the joints there, do you mean like that the elbow actually physically extends back into here, or would it be like where the joint breaks all the way back here, or would it be more like
come
this?
Come into the just
would it be more like this kind of move where it goes back because it's twisting along this axis, or is it more just one of those things where you just break it?
It'd be nicer if you could twist it along the axis. But you could, if it doesn't feel right, you can actually just smash it.
Yeah, because I oftentimes, and I haven't tried this, so I have no idea, but sometimes I find that like in the 2D world, you can get away with more little cheats like that because you'd be less aware of the elbow, but with the computer, with all the modeling and everything, that sometimes things feel like just broken because you're very aware that that's still the elbow.
Yeah.
So but I mean, would twisting it be?
Well, I would try to twist it first.
So that's the ideal way.
If it didn't look right,
Okay.
obviously you'd try to make it as believable as possible. But if it won't, then you just take a deep breath and break your arm.
Yeah. Okay.
I think it's one of the big things that will really work in computer, and this gives you more change, isn't it? It's a device to give you more change. And as Babbitt would say, have the courage to invent.
Art Babbitt was the master of breaking joints and breaking all the rules. Look at all the stuff that's going on here. Here are the extreme positions. The back leg is broken, and the foot's on backwards. On the next extreme, the back leg is broken, and the foot's on backwards. We then go back to extreme number 1. Pull them apart for clarity. The middle position, the elbow breaks, the hand is way back, the back arch reverses, and on the next pass position, the back arch reverses again. Pull it apart again for clarity. 5 and 11 are more or less in-betweens. But notice on 11, his foot is twisted towards us, and on 15, it's pointed away from us. Now the opposite step. On number 19, his left arm swing doesn't break, and on 25, his leg is twisted away from us. On 2, it's just an in-between, and on 9, the arm is still broken. On 13, the foot swivels back, the butt is at its highest, and the back arch reverses. So that on extreme 15, the butt falls on the contact. On the opposite step, 17 is just an in-between, and on 23, the foot swivels back, and on 27, it's basically an in-between. To analyze Babbitt is almost impossible. If he was to animate it again, he'd probably do something completely different.
He wanted to invent actions. He poo-pooed animators who just did sort of normal kind of performances. He would always he would approve of squash and stretch a lot because, although he didn't use it very much, he tried to do it this way. But anything that's not normal, that's more imaginative. He said, we've got an invented medium, let's invent.
Let's take a break from invention, and let's get into how we handle weight in walks.
This is a thing Ken Harris showed me. This is a head-on walk with exaggerated weight shift.
Here are the contact positions, and here is the first passing position with his weight over his left foot. On the second passing position, his weight is over his right foot. Each step requires him to shift his entire body weight.
So you could get a very nice thing here because of this. If there's the belt line, which on the passing position you could get that just with the belt line.
The belt line emphasizes the shifting of his body weight.
Okay, and this is exaggerated counteraction, as in a fat man walk, say. As he goes up, and this is obviously very exaggerated, the fat mass, as he goes down, the fat mass is going up as he goes down. The breasts, definitely. As she goes up, they go down. And it doesn't matter whether they're tiny or large or medium. They're going to go down. The flesh goes down as the body comes out, whether it's in small amount or a large amount. And as it goes down, they jiggle up. So, and the same will happen with a fleshy buttock.
The same thing applies to a woman's body as she walks. The same counteraction applies to a floppy hat. As she goes down, her hat brim goes up, and as she goes up, the hat brim goes down.
We did an interesting thing with Jessica at first. Is that it's just on this 4-frame business. We led the breasts came in 4 frames early, and she followed it. It was very subtle. They were just there a little. It didn't come out to here, and then she came in, but they went 4 frames early. I forget whether we Xerox the normal animation, then just stuck it out. Whatever it was, you had this. You didn't see it, but you had this very strange feeling. Sexual feeling. I mean, if we had delayed it, it would have been not as an aggressive kind of sexual thing. The feminine is concave. It's not, it's not strutting out on the stage selling. It's kind of a masculine thing to do, Take a look at this, you see.
We've looked at invented walks and successive breaking of joints and weight. Now let's see how the master, Milt Kahl, pulls all this together, taking a normal walk and loading it with all the things we've been talking about.
This is a wonderful walk, and it's going to take a while to do it, but it'll show you all the stuff we've been working on, all in action. And what Milt did a series, you could almost call this is a Disney optimistic walk. It's in Pinocchio, one of them, where Pinocchio's going to school, and it's got high elbows. It's sort of, we're off to be an actor or whatever it is. And I think he has a school book. I think it's like this, isn't it? Something like, it's almost a skip. It's a strut. It's got a lot of up and down in it, and it's absolutely beautiful. And he did a whole bunch of them. And there's this one he did in Johnny Appleseed in Melody Time, I think it is. There's a whole bunch of them where he's going off to plant the apple seeds, and he does this terrific. The world is optimistic. I'm going to spend my life planting trees, you know, or whatever it is. So I took a bunch of these and I analyzed them. And they're all the same, kind of. And he worked them out in this exactly same method that you can see. It's transparently, but it's complex. It's something like this. We know that the passing position is up on a normal walk, and this is kind of a normal walk, right? So we put the 7, and this is just a normal middle position. And this arm, look at this is wild. It's way up there at its high point, but the body is and it's just an in-between, except the leg is going right up here in the strut. That's about right. And I guess, yeah, that's it. And that's probably just an in-between, but with a very high knee.
Okay, now let's look at how Milt does this in detail. First, he makes the contacts. Right away, there's lots of vitality in the contact positions. We'll take 2 steps walking on 12s. Spread it apart for clarity. Head side on, head slightly left, head slightly right. Shoulders oppose hips. Back arm is down, front arm is up. Belt line bends down with the lowest leg. Body twists sideways and twists back. Feet twist and are off the parallel. Next, put in the passing positions, 7 and 19. On 7, the head is up and tilts forward. On 19, the head is up and turns towards us. On 7, the right shoulder is high. On 19, the left shoulder is high. On 7, the elbow joint is broken, as on 19. On 7, the left hand drags, the right hand drags. On the 19, the right hand drags and the left hand drags. There's a big, fast arm swing right through the middle. This would make a great walk as it is, without adding in more highs and lows. Now we'll put in the lows, the down positions. Number 4 is down. Number 16 is down. Delay the arm and drag the hand. Now put in the up position. 10 is an up. 22 is an up. Broken elbow joint on 10. Broken elbow joint on 22. Foot swings in on 10 with the sole towards us. And on 22, the foot swings away from us. Then add in the in-betweens. On thirds, between the up on 22 and 25, the two in-betweens are intelligent. The knee is at its highest on 23 and stays high on 24 and pops down with the sole towards us on 25, the contact. Now the whole thing is packed with vitality and change. Sophisticated use of the basics. The point of this is not to learn how to do a Disney strut. It's how to think about it and how to go about doing it, whatever it is. How to handle an immense amount of subtle material and keep it strong. And once we've got a walk that we like, we can take it further.
Let's make it, I'm wondering, if it's a fat man, the belly's going to be up here, right? And when he goes down, the belly's going to be, when he's going up, the belly's going to be traveling down. And here it's going to be really down. See what I mean? You can handle all kinds of material this way. If it was a woman, and we've got the breasts on it, it would be there as it's going down, they're going to tend to go up. And as he comes up to the front, they're going to travel down. And then when and they may go down further and may get an extra wobble here. Who knows? I would just carry them on down further. And then when it comes up, when it's down here, they're going to be going up ever so slightly. So you can see what you can do with hair here. I mean, you're a wonderful arc. You know, the hair is going to be here, here, in a wave motion, you see? Isn't it? You're going to have. So we can. The point of it all is I'm trying to sell you, if nothing else is gotten from this class, all these little tips, they're irrelevant in a way. It's the work method that gets you there. The rest is experience and talent, isn't it? You know, this is technology, this stuff, how to think. And it took these guys, it may have taken them only 10 years to figure all this stuff out before we all went and forgot it or didn't pay any attention to it. But there were several genius minds working on this stuff, several, you know, and they just figured it out. This is the way to work.
One question regarding that is more advice for us as animators. I guess if you said that in the 1940s you reached some kind of a plateau where Dumbo or Pinocchio were these people were doing this already, and there was much more to explore.
Right.
What is it for us as animators to
It's a wonderful question. And I think the answer is, these are the roots, isn't it? We grow our own tree on their roots. And what's very interesting, what you say is, why does the innovator of something, who feels as he's innovating this thing, oh God, I can't get it right. Like you got, like the computer thing's happening now. Oh Jesus Christ, our next film will be better. You know, this is still as you invent something or something new, you're thinking, oh God, if I could only get it right, I can't quite get it right. And then that becomes the innovation, and then all the copyists come in, and it goes down, isn't it? I mean, very often the great innovators are the high point, and they're going crazy because they think they haven't got it right. I think the answer is we go through their door, isn't it? I mean, the thing why I get emotional about Ken Harris, who was a friend, and Milton, I felt so privileged that he was a friend. He was the doorway for me. And now I give you guys this stuff. This is the doorway. This saves you years. God, I was animating 20 years before I learned how to do it. It was a terrible wrench to suddenly say, well, maybe there's a better way than having a nervous breakdown every time I try to be innovative. And far from being less innovative, when I learned the Bugs Bunny stuff, I took off. I was able to, oh, cripes, I've been so privileged. And I don't know, Bluth was kind of in the field some at that point. I didn't meet him or anything. But I felt like I was the only one who realized, A, I was stupid, that I didn't know the stuff, and I had enough experience at learning that I didn't know the stuff, although I was considered this innovator. And it's true, I was doing different stuff all the time, and still am. But it was based on, I realized, God, these guys have got the principles. I want the principles. I don't want to collect I don't want to drink their bathwater and dress like them. And I don't want to be them. I don't want to steal their shoelaces. I want to know, how did he do that? How did you do Monstro the whale? How the hell did you handle it? And they would tell you. And so I just collected it all. And there wasn't anybody else doing it.
Having looked at walks in depth, in the next session, we'll be delving into sneaks, runs, and animal action. In the previous sessions, we've looked at walks of many kinds. Sneaks are just another kind of walk, and we'll cover those and runs in this session. We'll end up with animal action and how four-footed and other creatures walk and run.
Just want to do the sneak. This is your government issue Hollywood sneak, which is like a, everybody used it in various forms. If we're going to the sneak, I'll put this foot out. I'll put it straight out. There. Let's say, which is the forward arm. And so what we're doing is this. You've seen this a million times. Right? And you can do a greatly reduced one where he doesn't go as far. You know, they do this. It's basically or what you did, sort of. It's the same thing, but with a much subtler. So the basic thing is this: tiptoe to here. So you do, again, you do this drawing, and this drawing, and this drawing, and this drawing.
Here's a formula for a slow sneak. Start with the contacts, and it has a very interesting passing position, way out in front. This takes just under 1.5 seconds per step. Here are the spacing charts for the body and head, easing in and easing out. With actions this broad, we should really put it on ones. Let's do a faster sneak, 1 second per step. So we'll reduce the amount of action. Here comes another variation.
Now you could do all kinds of interesting things on the passing position, couldn't you? You could say, okay, we've got this, and we don't just want him to go like that in 1.5 seconds. We want him to go up, or
Here's an adaptation of a Bill Tytla sneak, just over 1.5 seconds per step. There are 4 planning drawings. 2 extremes, the passing position down and an up position on the next breakdown or passing position. As in a walk, the wing arms do counter the feet. Just look at the amount of change. Curve to opposite curve, to straight, to curve. Look how clever this man is. Look at the changes of shape.
the one that never works, I think, I thought I'd seen it work once, and it was on a Disney thing called Legend of Coyote Rock, you know, where they're like this, and they got a foot up there, and a foot down there. And it goes doom, 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 very, very fast. It's almost a blur. Usually they try to blur this drawing. Ken Harris did it. He said we could never get it to work. The reason he couldn't get it to work was they had tall characters.
The old problem is that we've got too much action in too short a space of time.
But it'll work on a little mouse. Tom and Jerry, you know, the mouse is that size, so the leg's got hardly anywhere to go, and it'll work. Absolutely. So it's a little do-do-do-do-do, you know, that's the fastest you can go.
Here's a sneak that we're going to make work. As he goes up, the belly goes down. Contact. The down, passing position with delayed belly. The up, next contact, keeping a slightly different profile from the first contact. Down again. Pass position with delayed belly. Also a slightly different profile from the previous passing position 3. The up, and back to 1. Here it is on 1s, giving us a sneak on 4s. There's too much action in too short a space of time. Put in single in-betweens. Gives you a sneak on 8s. Still too much action. Now put in 2 in-betweens. Gives you a sneak on 12s. It works. Now put in 3 in-betweens. Gives you a sneak on 16s. It's kind of slow, but it works. 12s is the best one. Here it is again. Now we'll get into runs. Obviously, runs are faster than walks. The difference between a naturalistic run and a walk is that in a naturalistic run, there's at least one frame where both legs are off the ground at the same time. However, in cartoon runs, we can take great liberties. But like walks, first we have to set the tempo. Is it 4 drawings per step? 5? 6? 7? But we'll need at least 3 drawings to make the legs go around. If this is a wheel with only 2 positions, it won't go around. It just flickers. Take 3 positions, and it will go around. So we start with a cartoon run on 3s. Here are 6 positions to take 2 steps. And here's a rabbit running on 3s. It's planned from the mid-air positions instead of the contacts. Here's the down, the up, the down, the up. Here's another run on 3s. This one is planned from the contacts, but unusually for a run, both these feet are never in the air at the same time. Now add arms. In this case, the passing positions for the arms are not on the same drawings as the passing positions for the body. Here's an interesting invention which breaks the 3-position rule on a run. there are only 2 drawings for each step. This is because the figure is coming towards us, so we don't need to see the feet going around. They're going up and down like pistons.
Just while we're on this thing, here's the, get that straight. Here's the Hollywood, this is a 4 drawing run. Hollywood issue run. And this is going to work awfully well for a short, for one of these Hollywood proportioned characters. And you've seen it a million times, but this is it. This is, the hands are here, the little plump body, the legs are there. That are kind of like this. The down position is not as it is in a normal run, you know, down. It's kind of like that, and they haven't done the contacts first, but they're sort of stock things.
Here's another cartoon run, this one on 4s. These are the positions. With long limbs, we get too much action in too short a space of time. Now let's take the same run, but make the limbs shorter. And it works. Here's an eccentric run on 4s. Both feet are never in the air at the same time. Here's a long-legged 6-frame run. Because of its long legs, it needs at least 6 positions to work. Here's a jogging run on 6s. It's planned from the down positions and the length of the strides reduced. A young girl might run on 8s, with even more reduced action. There's only one drawing with both her feet off the ground. Contact. The low. Pass position. The high. Both feet in the air. Contact. The low. Pass position. The high. Both feet in the air. Contact. On this 12-frame run, there's lots of up and down on the weight. Because he's so heavy, it takes him only 2 frames to fall from the up to the down position. Then it takes 10 frames to lift everything back up again. In reality, the faster we go, the more we lean forward. And a runner will lean into a turn. How much he leans depends on his speed. We can force the perspective on the arms and legs with both feet and hands angled towards us, and on the next stride, both feet and hands angled away from us. It looks crazy, but it'll work. We've done a bunch of runs and walks with two-legged figures. Now we'll go to four-legged animals and other creatures. The greatest reference book for animal action is Human and Animal Locomotion by Edward Muybridge. The great animators all swore by it. Now we'll start with the four-legged walk.
This is a thing Ken Harris showed me, which he said he always had no trouble with animals as long as he did use the Muybridge book. Okay, so all animal walks taking size and drawing into consideration.
Here's a cartoon formula for an animal walk. The head turns with or against the front foot action. The tail root moves with the back legs.
The way to think about an animal walk is as we are animals, and they now know for sure we were animals, whatever the religious connotation is. We are animal. We're built. The bone structure is the same. And the way to to get the feel of an animal walk is to just do that, and that gives you the timing of where when this foot comes over, when this is here. And also the up and down, if there is any. The median, it'll be the passing position, right? So that's what to do first.
Let's take the front section first. Down on the contact. Up on the passing position. Down on the contact. Up on the passing position. Same thing applies to the rear section. Down on the contact, up on the passing position, down again on the contact. Now we're going to put them together with the contact position on the rear and the passing position on the front. And next we get the contact position on the front and the passing position on the rear. Here's the basic animal walk pattern using a lioness. Just like the person on all fours, this lioness has her chest down on the contact and the chest up on the passing position. Chest down on the contact and up on the passing position. The rear end, pelvis, is down on the contact, up on the passing position. Down on the contact, up on the passing position. Join them up. Chest is down on the contact, while the pelvis is up on the passing position. Chest up on the passing position, while the pelvis is down on the contact. Here is the basic animal walk pattern again, using a medium-sized dog. This is a more complex example, but it's fundamentally the same as the man on all fours and the lioness. There are two main extremes, and it's planned from the back leg contact positions. We'll have the down positions in blue, the pass positions in red, the up positions in green, and the rest in black, like the contacts. Animated on twos. Add single in-betweens and shoot it on ones. Here's our logo cartoon dog doing pretty much the same thing, only on 12s. Animals fold and unfold, much more than we imagine. Their bodies stretch and compress from the concave to the convex. It's like a wave action. Animation is full of wave action. Here's a medium-sized dog running on 14s. A dog's body is more rigid than a cat's, but still has lots of stretch and compression. It's seesawing and stretching and compressing. Look how much more action there is at the rear, while the chest is more stable. The rear section moves much more than the chest. In a small animal, like a squirrel, look how much action is in the rear. The rear end is where the power is. Here's an interesting question. Does an ostrich and a man walk like a horse? And the answer is, well, almost. Horses are really difficult to animate. There is no point in having a rigid body with stuck-on movable legs. Animals' bodies are enormously flexible. They're stretching and compressing all the time, like an accordion. Look at the overall shape, how it folds and unfolds. Look at how the weight is transferring from one leg to another, and in what order it's transferring. Now here's a refined horse walk. Here's the rear leg pattern. Start with the contacts. Pass position in the middle. Here's the down. And here's the up. This is the same pattern of downs and ups as a normal human walk. Now here's the front leg pattern. The pass position, the down, and the up. It's the same pattern as the rear legs, but it doesn't go as far down or as far up. Put them together, and we see that the rear of the horse is down as the front of the horse is up, and the rear of the horse is up as the front of the horse is down. This is just like the other four-legged animals we've seen. The head goes down as the front of the horse goes up, and the head goes up as the front of the horse goes down. And the contact on the passing positions are in the middle. Here is how the joints break on a horse's front leg. The knee goes forward as the hoof continues back. All comes forward, knee goes back as the hoof continues forward. The power comes from the rear. The weight goes down, then pushes up, drops to the contact, continues down, and pushes up again. The interesting thing about a horse's trot action is that the front and rear both go down together and up together. The opposite legs lift and contact at the same time. Here's the pattern for a horse galloping. Stretched, compressed, Chest down, rear up. Chest up, rear down. This is the way to think about actions. We're looking for where things are stretched, where things are compressed, what is up and what is down, and in what order the weight is transferring to each leg. Now for an 8-legged walk. It may look complex, but it's actually very simple. The front legs work like a 2-legged walk. The next 2 legs counteract the front ones. The third set mimic the front ones. The fourth set mimic the second set. So it's like 2 4-legged animals joined together. Here's a standard cartoon wing flap formula. When the wings are up, the body is down. As the wings go down, they push the body up. Here's the spacing for a wing going down. It eases out. Here's the spacing for a wing going up. It also eases out. Now for a more sophisticated wing flap. We'll make these wings out of 2 simple shapes. The wings stay as flat as possible when they push down against the air. This pushes the body up. As the inner wings go up, the outer wings continue down. Then the outer wings slice up through the air to minimize air resistance. Here, the inner wings reach their highest point. Now the inner wings start down as the outer wings continue up, and as the body continues down. Here's a butterfly wing flap. Here's the passing position. On number 1, the body is down. But on number 3, the wing flap has pushed the body up.
And on number 5, with the wings up, the body sinks down. Here's the spacing of the wing going down. Number 2 is very close to number 1. And here's the spacing of the wing going up. Number 4 is very close to number 3. An erratic flight path can be plotted using the up positions. Add the breakdown or passing positions with the wings down and the body up. Now we've got it on 2s. And now we'll add the single in-betweens.
These are basic patterns for animals, but there are thousands of types of animals, and to animate them convincingly, we have to study them. We have to understand the differences between them, and we need to know where the weight is and how they work. In the next session, we'll study flexibility and we'll show how to limber everything up.